Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this cool cloud effect on your picture designs of a sportsman or anyone really. And yeah, so this is quite a long awaited tutorial, so I'm sorry for waiting to upload this. And yeah, so here it is. And the images we're going to be using in this tutorial are this one right here. And so yeah, obviously this is a bit of the color correction. But yeah, so this is the first image, and then obviously we got the image of our sports person or a person, or the original image that we're going to be basing it off really. And yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to start a new canvas. We go to File, New, and the dimensions of these are 1920 by 1080. Although obviously it doesn't really matter. Obviously it depends on what you want to use it for. And then you just want to click and drag in your images. I will leave both of these images in the description for you to download for yourself. And okay, so once you've done that, you may see once you've dragged it in that we need to rasterize it. So we're going to right click on the layer, go to rasterize layer. If the option isn't there, that means you've already rasterized it and you don't need to worry about it. And okay, so now the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to pen tool around our person. I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing just because the process can be quite long, but I'm going to speed that up for you guys. If you don't know how to pen tool, there are loads of tutorials out there. I might actually make one in the future, so yeah, I recommend you guys go check that out. And yeah, just because the pen tool is actually just so useful in Photoshop really in general. So yes, I recommend go checking out a tutorial on that, and then coming back to here right after I sped this up. Okay guys, so we have now finished our pen tool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to make selection, press OK. Now we're going to press Command J, and now you can see that we basically duplicated the selection that we made out from the original photo, and you can see that they're on two separate layers now. And obviously we're going to keep this original image just so we can refer back to it if we do need to, but we can hide that for now. And yeah, so now we're going to start fiddling around with the color correction. So if you don't have this adjustments tab open, just go to Window and Adjustments, and that should give you everything that you need. And the first thing we're going to add is this black and white adjustments right here. It's just an icon. And we're going to make sure that all of these numbers are on 0, just like this. Okay, and now we're going to change the blending option right here to overlay, and you can kind of see it kind of makes all the colors a lot harsher. We can lower the opacity down of the black and white just a bit, but yeah, so we do want it to make the colors quite harsh, and it just adds a nice effect. I quite like it. And okay, so the next thing that we're going to add is the hue and saturation. So we're going to click on this icon right here, make the saturation -100, so it should be completely black and white, and then we're just going to lower the opacity down to about 70. Should be fine, and we can just play around with these if we need to as well. And okay, so that's all good. We have now done, well, we've started the color correction that we're going to be using, and now we're going to start to make the legs fade out. We're going to add the shine and that kind of stuff. So to do that, we're going to click on our original layer, well, not the original layer, the pen tool layer, and then we're going to add a mask, which is this icon right here. And now we can basically make changes to this image without like removing it forever. So if we were to use the eraser tool and like erase some of his legs, it will still be there on the original image, and our mask allows us to go back if we do need to. So we're going to click on our mask just like that. We can press B on our keyboard to use our brush tool, and then we're going to make sure that our foreground color is a black. And we're just going to start clicking at the bottom, make your brush a bit bigger. You can change the size of your brush by using your square bracket keys. You're just going to click once, just like that, and you can kind of see that it just erases a part of the bottom, and you can actually see that on the mask we can see what has been removed and what has been taken away. And this should be fine at the moment. I think we're just going to click once more. That should be fine, just because we're going to be adding more color correction a bit later on, and it may be a bit too hard to see the legs if we continue. And also again, we do like to add a bit of a shine to the top right, to the top left, just to kind of make it look like the sun is shining on him, is to say. So we're just gonna click once in the top left, and then we can kind of see we've got a bit of a shine coming on him, and yeah, it looks pretty good. And now that we've done that, we're gonna start doing this. We're gonna start using this image. So you just want to drag it in. Again, you may need to rasterize it, but you may not need to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to erase this background. So we're just going to go to our eraser tool, and then we're just going to start erasing just like this, and this should be fine. It doesn't really matter if you go too much into the actual smoke itself. just because it will still look like smoke. If I was to show you, like if I was to go all the way into that, you can still tell it was smoke, and it does still look realistic. So you don't really need to worry about going too far into it, but you do want to make sure that all this background is removed, just because you don't want to get caught out later on when you realise that you can still see a bit of the grass or whatever. So once you've done that, we're now going to actually duplicate this layer, just so we have 2 of these smoke layers. We're going to hide one and move it to the bottom, just with the other image that we have of this sports person. And now we're actually going to start making some variations of this smoke, just to make it a bit different. And yeah, so maybe you just want to click and just make different patterns of smoke. So we're just going to click, drag that out to the side. We're going to duplicate the original layer that we've got, move up to with the other one, show it and just move it, just so it's a bit easier to see. And we can just carry on making different variations, and we're basically making more stocks out of one stock. And it's just very easy to do, and it is very useful. And we're just going to keep doing that. You only need about 3, you don't need too many. And we can just move it to the side, and this will probably be the final one. So we'll go for something kind of like that. That looks fine. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to start adding them to the person and start to get this this effect to kind of make it look like he's actually involved with the smoke. And so to do that, we're going to click on, well, we're just going to select one of them, and we're just going to move it to, we're just going to position it to how we like. We're going to press Command T so we can change the sizing, and we can just move it around, change the angle, just to kind of suit the image that we've got. And we're just going to do that for the rest of them as well. Maybe make it smaller, reposition it just like that. And then if we do want to, we can still actually erase some of the sides, just so we can actually get the image or the effect that we're looking for. And of course, depending on the image that you have, this may vary for you as well. So I just want to keep doing it. You may even want to duplicate one of the smokes and use it more than once. That should be fine. And we're actually going to erase a bit there, and then we can actually lower the opacity down a bit as well, just to make a bit of a variance between the stocks. And it usually adds a nice effect. So we're just going to change the smoke opacity of some of them, just like that. And I actually may move this one down by holding Alt. It will duplicate it as well. And I think I might erase some of it, just to make it a bit different from the original one. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I'll make it a bit smaller as well. It's all about changing them, making sure they look a bit different, just because sometimes it can be a bit obvious when a stock is just being copied over, and we don't really want that. So we're just going to copy this across, and just like that. We can also drag some down, making sure that it's behind the person. So maybe if I wanted to put some behind his head, I can put one behind his head, but obviously we don't want it to cover his face, so we can just click, drag it below, and now we can see that it's actually gone behind him. And we're actually going to drag all of our smoke layers below the color correction, just so it kind of looks, just so the colors match really. And yeah, so it's looking pretty good so far. We've got the smoke effects, it's looking pretty good. And so the next thing we're going to add is some more color correction. So we're going to go back up to our adjustments tab, make sure that you click on the top layer, just so all the future color corrections that we add will be at the very top of the layers list. And the next thing that we're going to add is a brightness and contrast. So it's going to increase the contrast a bit. I know it may make the clouds a bit harder to see, so you may need to increase the opacity a bit. And we can also fiddle around with the brightness, may increase the brightness a bit. Although sometimes I like to keep it the same. Obviously it depends on what picture you're using. And okay, so obviously we kind of using with that color correction, it kind of makes some of it a bit harder to see. So you may want to even duplicate some more, just drag some around. And of course we still need to change it, so maybe lower the opacity down a bit, and just drag some again, and then we can kind of see that we gain that smoke effect back, and it's looking pretty good in my opinion. So the next thing that we're going to add is that we're going to start messing around with some of the colors. So to do that, we're going to make a new layer just by clicking there, and we're going to press B on our keyboard, and we're going to make it a bit smaller just because we don't want it to be too big. And the colors that we're going to go for are blue, so let's just find a light blue for our first one. Okay, that should be fine. And you just want to find the right size of your brush, just so it takes up half of the smoke. And just because we're going to have 2 different colors, one's going to be for the top half and one's going to be for the lower half. And now we can see that we've basically just got this blue circle that we used from our brush, and we're going to change the blending option to color. And you can kind of see it actually changes the color of its environment. You can see it kind of changes the color of the smoke and a bit of the skin as well, just to make it match. And I think, in my opinion, it looks pretty good. And we're just going to click on this layer of the brush. We're we're going to hold Alt and it's going to drag it down to the other side, but we're going to press Command U, and then we should be able to change this color, and just so we can get a bit of variety. So we might actually go for a bit of a purple. So once you find the color that you want, just press OK, and then we're going to use our eraser tool by pressing E on our keyboard, and then we can just erase from the top half. And now you can see that we've actually got two different colors. We've got a purple and we've got a blue, and it looks pretty good. So the last color correction that we're going to add is this gradient map. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to change the blending option to a soft light. And so once we've done that, we're going to change the opacity down to about 15, should be fine. And but we can also increase it a bit later on if we do need to. And we're just going to click on this gradient, and that will allow us to change the gradient for ourselves. I do like to kind of fiddle around with the default ones, just because some of them actually look pretty good. Like this one really works well, and we can actually increase the opacity a bit. And it kind of just depends on the effects that we're going for. We can also add our own if we did want to. But yeah, sometimes I just like to mess around with these, see which ones look good, and yeah, even if we don't like these ones, we can just make our own, and everything should be fine. So I'm actually going to increase this a bit more, just like that. And then also, if we did want, like maybe I wanted the top half to be a bit more blue, I can actually add more smoke to that specific section. So we can just do that, increase the opacity a bit, and okay, just we've got a bit more smoke. Alright, that's fine. And now we can actually go to our blue layer, press Command J, and now we can see that we've duplicated the blue layer, or the blue brush layer, and by doing that we've actually made the color a bit more harsh, and it looks quite good as well. So now the last thing I'm going to show you is how to add the text. So to do that, we're going to press T on our keyboard to get the text tool, and we're just going to click once right there, and then we're going to add the name of the person. So this person's name is Dele Alli. If you're not familiar with sport, you won't know who he is. But if you're not familiar with football, you won't know who he is. But yeah, okay, so now that we've done that, this is the size we're kind of going for, but I think I'm going to change the font to Gotham. The link to this font will be in the description for you guys to download if you did want to, and we're also going to change the color to kind of an offset white, just so it kind of blends in with its background. And okay, that's good, just press OK, and then we're actually going to drag it below the person, just in case we want to make it sure, so it goes behind him, just because I like that effect. It kind of looks like the text is actually there with him, although that kind of is impossible, I know, but it just adds to the effect and makes it look a lot cooler. And yeah, that's basically how you do this smoke effect tutorial, guys. If you did find it useful, don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you guys in my next video.